Hello everyone, my name is Denise. I'm a Catholic counselor. Today my topic will be discussing paid clients versus volunteer clients. Okay, so disclaimer, and to be all very authentic and real here. Before I became a counselor, I received some free counseling from the Catholic Church at Agape Village. Okay, so I'm definitely not a person who has not been so-called be given handouts or in a way receive gratuitous grace or gratuitous counseling. I've also been the recipient of free counseling and also the recipient of paid counseling. Like now I see my psychologist preferably every 2 weeks, trying my best to maintain that so that I can continue to process my own trauma and everything that's going on in my life. Keeps me humble as well, so that I don't always take on the role of the counselor. Sometimes I can take off the hat and wear the role of a client. Keeps me humble and grounded, okay? But today's video is talking about, today's video is talking about how is it like to receive volunteer counseling versus paid counseling. So it explores my experience in 4 roles, being a recipient of free counseling, recipient of paid counseling, a giver of free counseling, and a giver of paid counseling. 4 different roles which I have fully embodied all 4 roles before in some point of my life. So I guess maybe that gives me a little bit more credibility as I discuss it. Okay, so let me quote Saint Vincent de Paul, one of my, I would say my favorite saints because I don't know him very well. My favorite saints are like Saint Teresa of Avila, Saint Ignatius. Yeah, so but one day as I was looking at the Laudate app, they have a short quote by Saint Vincent de Paul which really spoke to me. So I'm going to tell you what I remember the quote was. Okay, it might be a bit adulterated by now after many years. He says, when you go out to the go out to the poor on the streets to meet them, you must be prepared to take some abuse, because they are actually suffering the bane of your kindness. As you're trying to dish out kindness to them, they suffer because it hurts them. It's like a shame. It bruises their pride to receive this kind of gratuitous grace. Okay, it takes actually a lot of humility to receive free counseling or any free handouts for that matter, whether free milk powders, free groceries and all that, vouchers, all that. Sometimes it takes a lot of humility because it reminds you of your own poverty and lack. So as a result, as you go out and meet the poor, which I was once, probably now still poor in what's that, morals and spirit. Okay, sorry, so I was a bit distracted there. So when you go out and meet the poor, you must be prepared to take some abuse, and that is the truth also. So I compare my paid clients versus my volunteer clients. The paid clients, they feel like, okay, I'm not well, something going on in my life, I need some support. So I'm taking control. I allocate some of my money to pay this counselor to solve this problem. So in the payment of the counselor, they get a form of dignity back. Like I'm paying for a service. No, I'm like, I got a dental cavity, I go to see the dentist, I pay the dentist, right? I'm sick, I go see the doctor, I pay the doctor. So it is just like using a service. Oh, yes, it's an authentic relationship, but it's also like I'm paying for this service, so it becomes a more dignified exchange. But for the volunteer counseling, sometimes it really feels like, have I sunk so low that I need to receive volunteer counseling? Okay, I mean, these were some of my own thoughts sometimes. And then as a result, I was so filled with shame, I covered up with grandiosity, became overly entitled, and really abused my counselor quite a lot. I'm sorry. Okay, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But that was, I think, a good 7-8 years ago already. Yeah, 7-8 years ago already. So I've come a long way, I'm sorry. So now I understand, because I have been in those shoes, I understand it. So this is what I'm telling all of you guys, probably counselors or psychologists. Sometimes, right, maybe you don't have enough hours, you want to clock hours doing volunteer work, and you think that since I volunteer work, right, these people are not paying me, I still need to pay for my transport need pay for my food when I come to the center to see them, and I don't get any reimbursement, they should be super nice to me, or at least listen to me when I ask them to do something. That's a really wrong mindset. Because as you're giving them the gratuitous gift of your free counseling, they're actually suffering from it. Their pride or their ego is being bruised. So you might actually find more resistance in the volunteer cases versus the paid cases. Okay? Besides, those who can pay and they can afford to pay, their circumstances usually are already not that bad. So they're not in such a great crisis or stressful position. They can actually dish out like $150, $180 an hour to see you, right? Or $250 for some psychologists. That's the rate. So they imagine after counseling, they go back to their cozy house with the beautiful big TV screen and like aircon and essential oils and delicious healthy food and the helper to help them. So they're surrounded by all this. You get what I mean? So they all these self-soothing mechanisms, they are actually in a better space compared to those who cannot afford to pay you. After counseling, where do they go back to? Their 1 or 2 room flat maybe. That's really messy, very cluttered, screaming neighbors who are having their own crisis, fighting outside, not enough money to buy a nutritious meal. Not maybe some people, like I've met, don't even have enough money to pay for the water bills to have a good shower. So they're more angsty. At the same time, now they're receiving counseling from the counselor, right? They've got their pride bruised as well. So it's really tough. Helping the poor is really tough. But the rewards are also very great because, okay, Jesus, he identifies with a few categories of people, right? Like remember the gospel passage about like you visited me in prison, you gave me water to drink when I was thirsty, right? You gave me food to eat when I was hungry. So he actually relates to those on the outskirts, those on the outcasts, the prisoners, the poor. So when you help them, you are also in a way really doing the corporate acts of mercy. You're really helping Jesus, and you're also bringing Jesus to them through you. So when you go there, you're meeting Jesus in them, and they're also meeting Jesus through you. So it's a very beautiful exchange, and very, very powerful, very good for your soul, but it's also super difficult. Okay, I hope that clarifies. Okay, so back to St. Vincent de Paul quote. When you go out to meet the poor, be prepared for some abuse. Okay, it could come like in my form, very entitled client request, must come and meet me. If not, that means I'm not so important, or I feel very hurt. It could come as that. It also could come as like you give out some advice, like how about you go back and do this homework, and they show a lot of resistance, or they just spend a big part of the session puffing up their ego, telling you how successful they are in other areas in their life. Actually what they feel is a lot of shame. So you might actually, like maybe you have 1 hour with them, they spend half an hour just praising themselves. That's their defense to overcome their shame. And you might be sitting there and observing what's going on. This person is clearly not doing well. Why is she puffing up her ego so much? Just because that's overcompensation for shame. But if you can sit through that half an hour and not try to intervene and just, okay, yeah, good. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. Oh, that's so impressive. After the half an hour, the vulnerability will come out. Then some work can be done. If all you get is 15 minutes of solid work done, that's okay. That's enough. Okay, because by virtue of the fact that it is unpaid work, it comes as the client will present in a different way. How do I know that? Because I was such a client too, right? I'm very different from when I am wearing the hat of the not paying client versus the head of the paying client. I behave very differently. It's a different role that I'm taking. There's definitely more shame and more overcompensation associated with the role of the unpaid client, which is also quite a humbling role. Okay, so if you can take on that role, you receive some gratuitous free counseling once in a while, or be so humble as to receive a gift from someone that you think is below you, that you have so much contempt for. That's actually a very humbling experience. Or sometimes you take on a role where which involves a lot of menial tasks like making tea, cleaning tables, serving soup to the poor and all that. All these are all fantastic, very humbling, very grounding experience, help you relate and being one with the poor again. Otherwise you really forget what poverty is, and your quality world pictures start to become more and more luxurious, more out of touch, obsessed with all the branded stuff, when there's some people who are not even having enough money for a nutritious meal or to pay the water bills. So think about that. Okay, so that's all for today's video. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, kindly press like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much everyone. God bless.